On May 14th, 2023, my life changed completely. It was Mother's Day. I was in New York with my siblings and close family friends. When I woke up that morning, everyone around me looked off, as if something had happened. It was moments later that my mom told me that my dad had passed away. Within seconds, I saw how everyone around me started to process what was happening. I saw how people outside my life started to view it. I saw how everyone's perspective on me had suddenly changed. Death wasn't always a close part of my life. It used to just be something I had heard of, something adults would shut down or redirect. I always thought the right thing to do was just say my condolences, I'm so sorry, or I can't imagine what you're going through, and move on with my day. That was the way I thought was right to face it, politely, distantly, and silently, until it happened to me. I now realize that death is the most common experience in humanity, but for some reason, it's treated like something that shouldn't be talked about. There's a question to be asked. Why do we feel the need to suppress our questions and concerns about death when asking isn't directly affecting us? A few weeks ago, I was at a friend's house. Her mom had come down to say hello and mention how she knew my dad. She wished me and my family the best and then left. I learned when I got home that day that my friend had gotten upset with her mom for mentioning my dad in fear that it would make me upset. If you haven't experienced major loss yet, this might be a reality for you on how you approach others who have. So today, I'd like to talk to the people handling a grieving friend, sibling, spouse, and I'd also like to the people who have dealt with loss but grew up in a culture where talking about it felt inappropriate or wrong. Most adults today still don't know how to talk about death and grief with their own kids, but the truth is, there is no right way on how to. But from what I've learned, avoiding it isn't a solution. There are right and wrong ways you can make someone feel heard and understood without making them feel avoided or ignored. In today's society, we shouldn't feel the need to suppress our questions and concerns about death. We should embrace them. It's something that happens to all of us, one of the very few things that mankind simply cannot control. Being able to openly talk about death is vital because it allows us to change the conversation and shut down the social misconception that talking about it is taboo or inappropriate. The truth is, death and grief is inevitable, but coming from what I've learned, talking about it can make a difference, and it can help so many people, especially those who have convinced themselves that there's a correct way to grieve. I know that viewing this subject from the outside can be difficult, so here are some tools that helped me the most when I was having a hard time. Number 1, compassionate messages. Small, genuine words can mean more than you may think. Number 2, consistency. Check in again and again. Grief doesn't follow a timeline. Number 3, personal signs of understanding. Sharing memories or small details can show the person you truly see their pain. And lastly, number 4, a unique perspective that comforts rather than pressures. Not be strong, but you don't have to be strong today. So why do we need to change the conversation? Right now, we live in a world that treats death like something to whisper about, something to hide, something that only belongs in hospitals or in movies. But when we treat death like a secret, we treat grief like a mistake. And when we treat grief like a mistake, people start to think that what they're feeling is wrong and shouldn't be spoken about. When my dad died, I learned very soon that the silence isn't gentle, it's isolating. Nobody teaches you what to do when the condolences end, when people stop checking in. That's when grief really begins, in the quiet. Imagine if instead of discomfort, we brought curiosity. Imagine if instead of treating death like something fragile, we treated it as something human. Imagine if we approach death the same way we approach birth, with communication, honesty, and preparation. Imagine. When we avoid talking about death, we avoid understanding life. So how can we change the conversation and move forward? Ask a grieving friend, what would help you today, instead of, are you okay? Share your memories. Don't avoid them. Sometimes the right thing to do is speak up, not sit in silence, because sometimes silence hurts more than the truth. We all have 2 moments in life that are the same for everyone: when we enter it and when we leave it. Everything in between is connection, meaning, and eventually loss. But loss shouldn't be the end of the conversation. It should be the start of a new one. If we can celebrate beginnings with joy, then we can face endings with honesty. If we give people the opportunity to speak freely about life, there shouldn't be an exception for talking about death. My dad's death changed my life and the life of many others, but talking about it changed me. I encourage all of you to talk about the things that shaped you, the things that changed you, the things that matter. Death will always be a part of our lives. The question is whether we meet it with fear or with understanding. And I believe that understanding begins with conversation. Thank you.